So as we get closer to the end of days or end of time, it says in the Bible that there will be people who will come forth with visions, certain dreams will be enhanced. And I am normally not really a dreamer, but the other day I had a rapture dream, which was pretty amazing, and I just wanted to share it because it was so unbelievable. So it starts as we're in this house. There's four of us. There's two people there, two females there that I know, but I don't recognize at all. But I know them. And Rhonda is there, and I've known her for 17 years, and she has believed in God all of her life. And so to kind of set the stage, this is like a residential area. We're on one level living, and the two women are standing in front of this bay window that's right off of the dining room. And one is on one side of the window and one is on the other. And there's the dining room table, and Rhonda is sitting farthest away from the window, and she's sitting at kind of like the head of the table, and I'm standing beside it. So I'm a little bit, closer to the window than she is. And we're just talking. We must have just stopped by to visit, chat with some old friends. We're laughing and just kind of telling stories and relaxing. It's a beautiful day outside. We're not in winter jackets. We're basically in t-shirts and jeans. I can see out the window from where I'm at, and there's no snow on the ground. It's not cloudy. It is a absolute beautiful blue sky like you would see any other day. Sun is shining. And as we're kind of talking, one of the women look out the window, and she's kind of like distracted by something that she sees. And so she's still like responding in conversation with us, but she doesn't leave the window. She doesn't stop looking out the window. And you can kind of see her body posture a little bit like, And then she quietly says, I wonder what that is. And it wasn't like an alarming, oh my goodness, what is that type of thing. It was just kind of like a question, like, I wonder what that is. And it was quiet. And the rest of us kept kind of, having the conversation. And we were just like, who knows? Balloon floating by, we don't know. And so then because she doesn't turn, and then slowly she just kind of stops acknowledging the conversation. And so the other woman standing on the other side of the window, she turns and looks at her, and the first woman says, what is that? She says it again, a little bit louder, but without panic or distress in her voice. And so the second woman turns and looks out, and you can see immediately that she sees what the first woman sees, and again, has no idea what she is looking at. And so I kind of turn and look at Rhonda, because they've both now kind of stopped having any sort of conversation with us. And I'm like, that's kind of odd and strange. And so they're both intently just looking out the window. And the second one says, wow, what is that? I don't know what is that? And they just kind of keep repeating that phrase back and forth, one and then the other, and one and the other. And finally it gets to the point where I'm just like, all right, I'm going to walk over to the window and see. So I get probably, I don't know, a couple feet away from the window, and I can hear activity outside. There must have been kids playing, or, and I can kind of see activity across the street, but I can't tell you what it is, or, because I just knew they were there. I knew I could hear the outside. And then probably when I get within probably an arm's length of the window, mind you, I can see outside, but I can't look up out of the window. I can just see directly out of the window. And the other two are looking up, because they're directly at the window, pressed, looking up. But in an instant, I get hit with this overwhelming, just, oh my goodness, I know exactly what this is. No doubt in my mind, it's happening. And those were the words that flashed into my head. And I can't recall I don't know if I said them out loud or if I just said them in my head. But all I remember is taking this breath and just being like, oh, it's happening. I was so excited and so filled. I knew exactly what was going on, even though I have not seen what's out the window yet. But every synapses in my body, every atom, every part of me knew what was happening. And so I stand there for a minute and I go to look up. I have not stepped towards the window, but I go to look up, and it's as if there's no roof on the house, and I can see directly either through it or it's no longer there. And now I can see what they see, and I have no doubt that I know exactly what this is, and I have been waiting for this, and I never knew what it was going to feel like, and it's something that it's really hard to describe, but I'm going to try my best to give you the description. So when I glance back down to look at these two women who are still like completely in awe as to what they can't figure out what they're seeing, I can see the window frame across the street and everything. And I go and look back up and I can see straight through the house. It's like it's not there. So it's very odd, two very different views. And as I'm standing there, remember I said that the sky was blue. And it was just a regular blue sky. And then all of a sudden you can see these rolling clouds. It didn't take up the whole sky. It was just these clouds that started to form, and then they just kept like rolling and tumbling. They stayed in the same spot, and they were thin on the edges and then grew larger into the center, and that's where he was. That's where Jesus was. I'm not kidding. Jesus is right there in the center of these clouds. I can see him clear as a bell, every angle of his jaw, the hair on his head, his eyes. I can see his hands. I can see the folds of his white robe that he is wearing. Crystal clear. And I cannot tell you what he looks like. I can't give you a description, but I see him. He's not blurred out. He's not, kind of just this bright, light that you can't really see. He is so vivid, and I can't describe him to you. And I don't know why, and I'm sure it's a purpose for his purpose that I can't describe him, but I know exactly who he is. The colors in these clouds, the clouds are white against this blue backdrop sky, but they are an infinite amount of different colors that my mind's eye has never seen before. And it's like there is a light inside the color, and it's just so vibrant. It's not flashing, but it's moving. It's like the light is moving throughout the clouds, and it is spectacular to watch. But it is nothing compared to Jesus standing in the middle. And he is brighter than the sun. And remember, it's blue sky, sun is out. The sun is muted. It is so muted compared to this light. And I look down for a split second to look out the window where the two girls are standing, these two women are standing, and they're still saying, I can't believe, I don't know what this is, what's going on, and now they kind of got this, not a panicked, but a very unknowing, and they're kind of nervous about it, tone in their voice. And I can tell they have no idea. And I'm just like, I feel saddened for a second because they don't know what is happening, which means they're not believers. So I'm sad for only a second, but it's just to recognize, that moment. They don't see the colors. They don't see Jesus. They just see something, and they can't explain it. So I turn to look at Rhonda, who's still sitting at the table. And I say, now I know I say it out loud. I look at her and I go, it's happening. And she turns and looks at me, and she pushes herself away from the table and she stands up. And the second she stands up, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. She now feels and knows what I know, and she's nowhere near the window. She has no idea what's outside. But I can tell that she's overcome by the same thing that I'm overcome with, even without seeing it. At that point, I can feel, this is the hard part to explain. I can feel something happening to the inside of my body. It is, it's not like the hair raising on your arms. It's not like getting the chills or like when your legs or hands fall asleep and that tingle. It's not that. It's more. And the only thing I can think of is when you look at like a 7-Up, you pour it in a glass and you can see the bubbles and they form and then they kind of, slowly sneak up and then they go, they release. That's what it felt like on the inside of my body. And it was, for lack of a better word, effervescent. I felt like light. I felt as if those little bubbles were happening on the inside of my skin. And every time one of them popped or released, it went somewhere else. It was like that part of the inside of me was releasing here, but being reformed or regathered somewhere else. And I couldn't quite see or know where that somewhere else was, but I knew it was better than where I was right now. And every time it did it, I could just feel just this tiny release, just, over and over and over, this release of this pull to this world, but being relocated in something that was warm and massive amounts of love and comfort, and just this knowing in my head that I was home. I was going home. This was the process of going home. So I get one more look at Rhonda and I can see that she's kind of like feeling her arms, as well, because now I know that she feels what I feel. She feels this effervescence, this relocation, if it will be. And I can't believe it. I'm just in absolute awe of it. I'm so excited. It's like the rest of the world starts to mute then, and I can't really hear clear. Like the noise that I heard outside earlier, that stuff starts to mute. It starts to very quietly go away. And there is this peaceful noise, peaceful sound that I was gaining, that I was going through. And it was so comforting, but you could hear it. And I can't explain what that is either, but it was so soothing. And Jesus, I look back up and Jesus is standing there, standing, floating. Jesus is there. He's there. And he has his arms out as if to welcome you, to give you a hug. Not like when you see in the pictures and they have, a picture of him standing there with his arms out in this regal glory, but like it's time to come home now. Come home. You see me? Yep, I see you. Come on home. I'm going to give you a hug. It's just this draw, this absolute majestic but beautiful feeling of being wanted, that you know that you are wanted and loved. I was hoping to get through this without crying. It was so amazing. The feeling is just amazing. So, as this is happening, there's a part that I can't explain, and I've tried to figure it out and I can't explain, but I get to the point where I'm so excited, or that I'm so less here than I am in somewhere else, that you forget everything that's happening here on earth. You forget all of it. So it's It's like it didn't exist. It never mattered because there's something else that's so much higher. So, like we live on a farm and we have animals, and sometimes I think, oh my gosh, what happens if, the rapture happens? What's going to happen to the animals? Who's going to take care of them? And I know it seems silly, but it crosses my mind. And that's not even, it never even enters your mind. Once you get to a point where so much of you is relocated, it doesn't even matter. The people down here don't matter. Your job doesn't matter, because that's like, it's all gone. It's all been taken care of, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. There's something more. There's something greater. So that was really interesting, that I could recognize that all of a sudden I wasn't worried. I wasn't scared. I wasn't, trying to figure out how to fix the problem somebody else already had. And he was like, I've got it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. And I was so excited. I got so excited that I was going home, and I knew I was going home. And at that point, when I was just like, oh, this is it. Unfortunately, I woke up. But for 2 or 3 seconds, when I opened my eyes, I was like, I made it. And then I realized, unfortunately, it was just a dream. But it was just an amazing dream that I can't get out of my head. I have told to numerous people. I am excited that, maybe soon, very soon. And I will tell you that on clear days where there's no clouds and I'm outside, I'm like, maybe this is the day. Maybe it's today. And I'm eagerly but patiently waiting. There are moments where there's 1 or 2 clouds in the sky and the sun hits it just right, and this flash of color will go through and my heart jumps and I'm like, oh, maybe, and then I realize it's, the sun setting on the clouds. But I just wanted to share my dream with you. And hopefully that gives you hope, or makes you, if you don't believe in it, makes you possibly question and reach out. But God bless everyone. And I hope that we all get relocated. Thank you.